Let's continue. Good afternoon. I want to welcome all of you here to this very special Mission Week event. For those of you who don't know me, and I look out and I know most of you, but there may be people on Zoom that don't know me. I'm Sister Susan O'Connor, Legacy Liaison here at Mercy. The theme for Mission Week this year is, our mission is mercy, our legacy is love. Mercy continues to thrive because we, people of mercy, come to work each day to share mercy and be mercy in whatever way we can. When we proclaim our mission is mercy, I think we are saying that we are committed to providing quality care and services because the people who seek our help deserve nothing but our merciful best. This is the goal and purpose of everything that happens throughout the entire Mercy organization. The second part of the theme for this year is, our legacy is love. A legacy is what we pass on. It is about the richness of an individual's life, including the impact he or she has on others. Generation after generation of Mercy employees have left legacies of love. We stand on the shoulders of individuals who sacrificed.
Red alert.
To be continued.
Red alert. Basement. Zone 2. 1958 building.
Okay, there are two places that have fires. Is that possible? Okay, generation after generation of Mercy employees have left legacies of love. We stand on the shoulders of individuals who sacrificed a great deal to help Mercy grow and prosper. We also have an obligation to provide a firm foundation for those coming after us who will create and share their own legacies of love. With Mercy as our mission and a desire to leave a legacy of love, we as the Mercy community can be transformative for patients, families, and for all co-workers. When we respond as people of mercy, we know we are responding in the spirit of the Sisters of Mercy, who risked a great deal to use their limited resources to establish the hospital 122 years ago yesterday. Today, we will hear from 3 of our co-workers who will share their stories of answering the call to come to Mercy and what keeps them committed to their call. They've been here varying lengths of time, and our hope for today is that each of you will be able to identify with one of their stories. So before we turn it over to our speakers, I'd ask you to join me in our mission statement. To care for the sick and enhance the health of the communities we serve, guided by the spirit of the Sisters of Mercy. I'm going to turn it over to our speakers, and they will introduce themselves and share their story of coming to Mercy. Thanks.
Well, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Great. My name is Jamie Henley. I am the Director of Volunteer Services here at Mercy. I've been with Mercy about 5 months. So when I got this email asking me to do this talk, I thought, well, that must be a mistake. So I just kind of set it aside and thought I'll give her a few days to recall the email or say, sorry, Jamie, I meant that to send that to somebody else, but she didn't. So I responded and said, sure, I'll do that. And started thinking about, oh, I guess I better figure out what my answers are to all of the questions they wanted me to ask. So here I go. So yeah, I've been here 5 months, but before that, I actually have been working with Mercy for the last 7 years. I was with Community Health Free Clinic for 7 years, working as their development director, their chief operating officer, and a variety of other roles with that. So when I really think about why or what called me to the mission of Mercy, I go back a long ways. I first became acquainted with the mission of Mercy, I think it was 13 or 14 years ago. In this very room, I came with Archbishop to do a meeting with donors and some other folks here in the Cedar Rapids area. I was working with the Archdiocese at the time. I had just taken over their Office of Stewardship. And so we had set up some meetings, and I came here to meet some donors and things like that. And Archbishop introduced me to Sister Susan. And I remember saying, well, what's your job here? And so she explained to me her role here of keeping the hospital connected to the Sisters of Mercy. And I remember talking about how the sisters were, there were fewer and fewer of them. And so her real role was to keep connected to that. And I remember thinking, wow, that is a big task, but amazing that an organization as big as Mercy wants to make sure that they stay connected to their roots, to the sisters. So 13 years ago, I kind of maybe started on this path. And so when I think about what brought me here, I've got to start thinking a little bit about fate and faith that kind of led me here. And it just took me a little while to get here. So jump forward to my work with the clinic and really working with, really, even though it wasn't part of Mercy, we really were doing the same mission. We really were caring for the sick and enhancing the health of everybody in our community through the clinic. And getting connected again with the mission of Mercy. And I remember when COVID hit and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. And Darlene Schmidt and myself were in her office and we were trying to decide whether or not we were going to close or not. And Darlene says, well, we need to talk to Tim Charles and let him know that I think we're going to have to close down the clinic. We lost about 90% of our volunteers, about 75% of our staff, all left when COVID hit. So we got on the phone with Tim Charles and he said, what do you need to keep the doors open? Because the mission of Mercy and the mission of the clinic are the same, and you need to be able to be there to take care of patients. And we said, okay, we need nurses, we need people to help staff the clinic. And he said, you've got it. But the mission that you do is so important. Which reminded me just how important taking care of the sick is for this organization, which really got to thinking about, wow, what a terrific organization in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of everything that's going on. They easily could have said, hey, we've got our own problems, our own issues to deal with, but they didn't. Then towards the end of COVID, I started working with people over at Hall Prine Cancer Center. They wanted to do a men's prostate clinic. They wanted to help people in our community that maybe weren't coming to the hospital. Then we worked with the women's clinic and doing a breast cancer clinic. All of those things just made me realize how important the mission of Mercy was, and really got me thinking about, well, I want to work for that organization. As I was starting to look at leaving the clinic and what my next steps were, Well, that's good to know. But I was really working on, really looking at when I started thinking about where I wanted to go next. The mission of mercy is what really led me. When I think about good times and bad times and how the mission kind of brought me through that, I think COVID for all of us was a really tough time to try to figure out. I know from my perspective, a lot of my friends and family, they were working from home. They were talking about how great it was. They didn't have to go to the office. They got to sleep in. They logged in from their computer. It was nice and everything. And I didn't get that. I went to work every day at the clinic, but it was that mission of really knowing that we were caring for the people in our community that really kept me going throughout all of that. Then when I think about enhancing the health of our communities, we really think about, I think about all of the health, right? Our mental health, our physical health, our just kind of our everyday kind of thing. And that's when I really love mercy in this mission. When I'm helping somebody find their car and you see the smile on their face, or they say thank you, those are all ways that we live out that mission. And that kind of helped me realize that I'm in the right spot, that I'm in the right place. So what keeps me here? Well, I made it through the 90 days. So that was good. I hadn't even made it through the 90 days when they asked me to do this. I thought, well, what happens if Nancy decides to give me the old heave ho? But that didn't happen. But what keeps me here are actually all of you and the people that I've met. It amazes me to work for an organization this big. And I walk through the halls and everybody smiles. Everybody says hello. It doesn't matter if it's somebody from the maintenance to somebody in the administrative wing. It's always the same. It's people saying hello. It's people generally who want to be here, genuinely want to be here. And that's what keeps me coming through the door every day. Our volunteers who come in every day, who aren't getting paid, and I listen to their stories, volunteers who have been here for 20 plus years, giving of their time and their talent day in and day out because of this mission. That's what keeps me coming back. So I'm really happy that I met Sister 13 years ago, and she kind of maybe set me on this path coming this way. I'm really happy that I made the change to Mercy, and that I get to continue to live out this mission and provide this legacy of love a long time coming. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Regina Hall, and I've been working here at Mercy for 11 years now. I really enjoy working here. I love each and every one of you, whether I know your name, but I definitely know, I may not know your name, but I do know faces. And you guys, like Jamie said, you guys make it worth coming here each and every day. We all have different jobs. We all have different duties, but we all do it with love and compassion. And I am really thankful for that. And what called me here to Mercy was, I used to live in Iowa City, and I worked at the university for 10 years. And the Lord just uprooted me and said, you're going to Cedar Rapids. And I said, Cedar Rapids? I don't know anything about Cedar Rapids, Lord. I said, I've been here in Iowa City for 20 years. I don't know anything about Cedar Rapids. But I was obedient. And I came to Cedar Rapids and I said, I came with my church. And I said, Lord, where I'm gonna work? He said, you're going over to Mercy Hospital. I said, oh yeah, that's good. Mercy welcomes you as Lord. And I said, okay, the mission, I met Sister Susan. And I say, whoa, this is awesome. So when I came here and it was welcome to pray with the people and to love on the people and to just be who I am in my faith. And I was so comfortable and welcome here by everybody. And I said, okay, this is good. So I was able to go in the rooms and talk with the patients. And you know, when you're sick, I have been behind the door before. I was on the other side of the door. And when you're sick like that, you want someone to come in to give you love and compassion and show you that they're not just here for a paycheck. They're here because they care. And that really made me feel good as a patient being here. I was walking through the hallway one day and I had some health problems. And I had no idea that I had a blockage in my heart. And I've been feeling that way since I was a little girl. And I was here on ortho, been on ortho for a long time, and ortho is my family, that's my home. And I was going through the hallway, doing my duties, loving on the people and doing what I do to make everybody comfortable. And I went down, I passed out. And my staff member, they came and they helped me. And I didn't know what was going on. And I went down to the emergency room and talked with my doctors and all. And the doctors here is great. And a couple of days later, they let me know that I needed open heart surgery. And that was some devastating news for me to hear. And I embraced it. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm in your hands. And I'm with my Mercy family. Come to find out, Mercy didn't have open heart here. That was even devastating to me. So I went over to St. Luke and had my open heart. Everything got infected, it all went downhill. I said, get me out of here. Take me back to Mercy. So I came back over to Mercy and did my rehab for 30 plus days. And it was great. I mean, the experience, people don't know, you all really don't know how much impact that we have on people when we're sick. Just the smile, the love, and the compassion, it means a lot. It's more than medicine. Medicine is good, but it's better than medicine because you really feel that love from the people. And I tell you what, the chaplains came to my room, come to pray with me, talk with me, to hear me, and that meant so much to me. And that's what keeps me here at Mercy, because I know I work with a bunch of people that care and does have compassion and love. We're not here just for a paycheck. We're here because of love. And our faith, my faith means so much to me. And I just like I said before, it's just so important that we show that love. And like Sister Susan says all the time, the compassion for people means so much, not only here at work, even in our homes with our families, in the store, just showing that smile and all this bad stuff going on in the world. People need to know that someone care, someone love them. We don't have to know your name. Like I said, a lot of you in this room right now, I don't know your name, but I do love you because of the compassion that I have in my heart from Jesus and the faith that I have. And you guys are just so awesome in so many different ways. We get tired, yes. We get frustrated sometimes, yes, but we still keep going. And that's what gets us up each and every day to come here in this organization, what we call work. And we don't even really look at it as work because we love what we do, right? We love what we do because if we didn't, we wouldn't be here. And we do the best that we can do with the best of our abilities. And I just thank you guys. And that's what keep me here. That's what keep me going each and every day. And I'm so happy to be among you guys. I'm so happy that we all have the same mission as the Sisters of Mercy. And we all have the same compassion and the love for one another and the people that we serve. And I thank you guys so much. And I love you all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I remember the day I interviewed here at Mercy quite well over 10 years ago. My husband, Justin, and I were in the process of moving to Iowa from the suburbs of Chicago. I had applied for a nursing job in the intensive care center at Mercy the week prior. Justin had already started working in Iowa and so was heading here for a few days. And I had a few days off at my job in Chicago, and so I joined him. We were staying at my in-laws and I received a call from the nursing recruiter asking when I could come in for an interview. I stated I would be back in a week and I could interview then. She was insistent that I interview in the next few days. We talked for a while and I finally admitted that I do not have any interview appropriate clothes with me. She then said without hesitation, I may be able to lend you some clothes. Can you tell me your size? This was my first experience of the Mercy Touch, and I hadn't even started. At that point, I was not about to miss out on an opportunity to go clothes shopping and made a day out of it. Needless to say, I began working in the intensive care center as a nurse in November of 2011. My career in the ICU as a nurse was always challenging and exhilarating. I have memories of many patients, but every nurse knows there are a select few whose names you will never forget. One patient that I had the privilege of taking care of was an otherwise healthy man in his late 20s. He suffered sudden cardiac arrest at home. His wife found him, began CPR, and called 911. He was admitted to the ICU on the ventilator, on which he remained for several days. He did not have any purposeful movement, and it was unclear if he was going to make a full recovery. His wife was at his bedside day in and day out. She was understandably distraught, and she was also headstrong that he needed to make a full recovery. They had a 6-month-old baby at home and 2 other kids to raise. After 5 days, he started to make purposeful movements and was able to have his breathing tube removed. Watching her as he was able to squeeze her hand for the first time since this event, as her face reflected joy and relief, was such a rewarding experience. Seeing the Mercy Touch unfold and being a part of that team of nurses, respiratory therapists, occupational and physical therapists, speech therapists, providers from critical care, cardiac, neurology, and rehabilitation teams was really special. Over several months, he was able to make a full recovery, thanks to his perseverance, his steadfast wife, and his team of caregivers. Now, as a nurse practitioner in surgical oncology, I get to provide care alongside an amazing cancer care team. I can think of several women who are breast cancer survivors that represent some of the most resilient and strong women I have ever cared for. One was a woman who was diagnosed with stage 3 inflammatory breast cancer at the age of 25. She went through chemotherapy and had a bilateral mastectomy. She was always upbeat at her appointments. She was determined not to just survive, but to thrive. She started a Facebook group to support others going through the cancer journey. She's now celebrating 3 years being cancer-free. And she continues, I know, to inspire many other cancer patients. Patients that have cancer have taught me so much. Many of them have come face to face with the knowledge that our days on earth are numbered and that tomorrow is promised to no one. They have processed this knowledge and want to know, what can I do? What options do I have? and have had to ask the question of what defines quality of life to me. Their astounding ability to cope with the dreaded word cancer by changing their perspective from fear to, okay, what do I do now? What's the next step? Is inspiring. Bad things like cancer happen to good people. But with state-of-the-art technology used for diagnosis and treatment, good things can then happen to good people. These patients are able to look back and say, I survived that part of my life. And that was just part of my life, not the end. It is truly a privilege to be part of a cancer team that is able to deliver the state-of-the-art care with the utmost compassion. I would never settle for delivering mediocre care to patients. Excellent care involves not only the best technology and the most informed providers, but also a large dose of empathy and understanding. I have seen nurses tell jokes to patients before they take them into the operating room and drum up an easy conversation with the patient just before they're put to sleep, all for the sake of settling their nerves. I have seen providers sit down in patients' rooms and take time to get to know the patient and their family and to learn what it is that makes the patient tick. I have many times sang loudly and off key with a chorus of healthcare providers the happy birthday song to patients that are in the hospital on their birthday. I have worked at other hospitals, and you may be thinking that what I've described to you happens everywhere. It doesn't. The rhythm of compassion is palpable here at Mercy, and being part of what motivates me to continue to deliver care that can only be described as the Mercy touch. Thank you.
I hope you're as inspired as I was by all of it. Usually I cry. So anyway, good job, folks. So let's give them another round of applause. Tim, are you coming up for a reason or just to annoy me? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Is that it, Janet? He is, okay, come on up. Not too many more days. It's been always.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Sister Susan, for that wonderful introduction. I really love Mission Week. I love Mission Week because it's an invitation. It's an invitation for each and every one of us to just pause in the midst of our incredibly busy work days, our work lives, to consider what this organization means to us in a deeper sense, but even more importantly, to consider the way in which this organization has worked on us and shaped us as individuals. Jamie talked about fate and faith. I love that. Regina talked about care and love. Jennifer talked about courage, inspiration, celebration. So our mission is mercy, and our legacy is love. Mercy, love. Mercy for me is a lens. It's a way of looking at the world. It's a way of looking at one another. It's a way of looking at our patients. It's a way of looking into our community and understanding what those needs are that may need to be addressed, and to ask those deeper questions, which is, while we all struggle with the circumstances that we have to deal with day in and day out, both individually and as an organization. What are we called to do that is distinctly different, so important, as we look through that lens of mercy? And then love for me is the intention, is the action, is the dedication, is the devotion. So together, what we have is a way of looking at the world, empathy, coupled with love, which is action. And as Jen said, that's compassion. What we bring to our work is compassion. And I will tell you, over the I think this is my 19th, it will be 20. So I was just counting the number of mission weeks I've had.
Oh,
So maybe actually 20 mission weeks. In the course of each one of those mission weeks, I've gone just a little bit deeper. And I've come to recognize that with each step of the way, that I'm a better person. The other thing that I've contemplated, given the fact that this will be my last mission week here in this role and capacity with Mercy, is what the example the Sisters of Mercy provide to me. And that is, I'm reminded that the sisters are the walking sisters. In other words, Catherine McCauley made a deliberate and intentional decision that they, unlike many of their peers, would not be cloistered. They wouldn't be confined by the walls that was customary at that time for women religious. They would be in the world. And so for me, what I am thinking about is how I ensure that all of this work that I've done in the context of understanding myself, understanding mercy as guided by the Spirit of the Sisters of Mercy, how I don't allow that to be limited, to be cloistered by this building. How do I take that out now into a larger world? How do I take all that I have been informed of and all that I have been shaped to become out into the larger world? And that's an opportunity that I have as I'm stepping into this next chapter of my life. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you to all those who helped plan this day. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at our commissioning service. Have a blessed rest of the day. Thank you.
I have one final thought that I wanted to share. This is something that nothing ever changes, Tim. Remember that. I recently read this and I thought it was very appropriate. It truly is not what we leave for others that matters. It is what we leave in them that matters most. And our three speakers today left a lot in me, and I hope they've left a lot in each one of you as we all go forth to carry the mission of mercy. So thank you, everyone. All right, good job, ladies.